Mom, that my friend Tejiri, she's really facing a hard time in her marriage. Every day, one issue or the other with her husband. I spoke with her yesterday and she said she's tired and even planning to leave the marriage. Mommy, can a marriage relationship be healthy, fulfilling, and enjoyed by both parties? Because it's like these days, marriages are no longer enjoyed. It's like there are a lot more bad marriages than good ones. Wait. Marriage is like a blank sheet. To be happily married, you are to design and write out how you want your marriage to be. There are skills you need to learn and adopt in your home in order to cultivate a healthy and fulfilling marriage. One of the basic skills, as I've always talked about, is the communication skill. Effective communication is crucial in any relationship because it enables partners to express their needs, desires, and consent. A good communication aids understanding, trust, and emotional intimacy. Active listening, which is still part of communication skills, involves paying full attention to your spouse, asking clarifying questions, and reflecting back what you have heard. This practice shows your spouse that you value their perspective and helps prevent misunderstandings. Even expressing thoughts and feelings with clarity and respect requires being honest about your emotions, while you are being mindful of your spouse's feelings. Make use of the I statements to express your feelings without placing blame on your spouse. Non-verbal communication, such as body language, facial expressions, in turn can significantly impact the message being conveyed to your partner. For those who are blessed with high-pitched voices, like myself, it's necessary you learn to reduce your voice by a tone or two to avoid being misunderstood as one who shouts while talking to your spouse. I was a victim of that. When your dad married me, my voice was so loud. You know, I've always been a teacher. So every day in the house is like your dad is one of my students. My voice was so loud and he felt intimidated, saying I always shout at him. I said, no, you remember you married a teacher, that's how my voice is. But then I had to learn how to reduce the tone of my voice. So being aware of these little cues and responding appropriately, changing where you need to change, can enhance the overall communication experience. Encourage deeper conversation with your spouse by asking open-ended questions. Questions that prompts your partner to share more about their feelings. Building trust is also important in cultivating a healthy marriage. Trust is the foundation of every healthy relationship. It involves believing that your partner is honest, reliable, and has your best interests at heart. Trust is built over time through consistent actions, which demonstrates honesty, reliability, and vulnerability. Sharing personal experiences, keeping promises, and showing support during challenging times are all ways to build trust. But mommy, what if the trust is already broken? My dear, trust broken can be rebuilt through accountability, forgiveness, and patience. Your offending partner must take responsibility for their actions, show genuine remorse, and demonstrate commitment to change. Apologies should be detailed and personalized. I'm sorry I took you for granted. I sincerely apologize to raising my voice at you. I understand I made you feel insulted, which wasn't my intention. I promise to do better next time. Then, the injured partner needs to be willing to forgive and gradually rebuild trust. To maintain trust, practice open communication and be transparent about your intention and actions. Consistently show your partner that you are reliable and trustworthy. There is also the need for setting healthy boundaries. Personal boundaries help to protect our emotional, mental, and physical well-being. They are essential for maintaining self-care and ensuring our needs are met within the relationship. It is essential to identify, communicate your needed boundaries with your partner. But mommy, this talk of boundaries, how does it even work? How do I set boundaries? Not to talk of setting healthy boundaries. I don't want trouble. Before my husband will now come and feel I'm trying to control him. I beg you. My dear Akwewe, boundaries is all about stating what you are comfortable with and what you are not comfortable with, what you like and what you don't like. Everyone has boundaries or limits, and in this case, I'm simply saying communicate these boundaries to your spouse. Some families actually practice this, but they may not necessarily call it boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries is not about controlling your spouse or imposing your will on them. It's about creating and maintaining a safe and healthy space where you both can thrive and feel fulfilled. Most marital challenges happen because boundaries are not properly communicated to each other. This leads to hurts, and one party seems to feel the other party is deliberately hurting or infringing on their rights or personal space, whereas this space or limit is not even known, nor even understood by the second party. To set a healthy boundary, you must communicate your needs and preferences to your spouse in a clear and respectful way. Be honest and upfront about what you need and be willing to listen to your partner's perspective as well, and maybe make some compromise when necessary. For example, dear, I need you to inform me when you're going to be late for dinner so I can plan accordingly. Or, please let me know when you'll be returning home with guests so I can make proper preparations. Also, I can at least be properly dressed. It is worthy to note that there are times that things may not necessarily go as planned and you are not duly informed. There is a need to make quick adjustments to accommodate the change of plans. Your spouse, for one reason or the other, may have failed to inform you that he will be late, and now the food is cold. My dear, warm the food. Don't give him cold food because he failed to tell you he'll be late, or the guests are already there and he did not pre-inform you about the visit. My dear, you are a woman. Improvise. Do what you have to do and later iron it out with your spouse. It doesn't get easier than this. There is the need for respect in setting boundaries. Show respect for your partner's boundaries and communicate yours in a respectful way. Respect each other's need for space and time and be willing again to compromise when necessary. For example, your spouse needs some me time. Respect this need and give them the desired space. In terms of self-care, take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Communicate this self-care need to your spouse. For instance, I need to take some time off this weekend. I need to take care of myself. I need to rest. I need to recharge. Be willing to set limits where necessary and prioritize your own well-being. You can also set boundaries on finances as well. For who and with who? Please, my husband handles our finances 100%. Is he not the man of the house? They don't want me to share responsibility with any man. Why should there be a boundary in finances? His money is our money, and my money, my money. Akpewe, your dad and I had a different perspective on finances in marriage. I believe that as a helpmate to your dad, all I had is 100% your dad's and fully available to your dad whenever the need arises. And he also believes whatever he has is mine 100%. We believe our network is not only what we owned as individuals, but what we owned plus what the other person owned. Though we operated a joint account, we also had our own personal account, and we knew we had access to each other's funds and assets. I'm a prudent spender, so I actually managed the funds, paid our bills, and ensured proper savings. This was only possible because I had proved myself to your dad, and his heart did safely trust in me. But I've come to understand that finance in marriage is not a one-size-fits-all. It's important to study what works for you and stick to it. It's sometimes necessary to seek counsel on how to maneuver these aspects of marriage. So, back to setting boundaries on your finances. But mommy, how do we set these boundaries on our finances? Well, in setting boundaries to your finances, there is need for transparency. Be transparent about your income, your expenses, and financial goals. Be willing to share financial information with your partner and be open about it. Set mutual financial goals and priorities such as saving for a down payment for a house or even planning for retirement. Work together to create a financial plan that aligns with both partners' goals and priority. Set spending limits and communicate them to your partner in a respectful way. Agree on a budget for discretionary spending and be willing to compromise and adjust the budget as needed. Decide whether to have a joint or a separate bank account. Be willing to discuss the advantages and disadvantages and come to a mutual decision. Discuss big purchase with your partner before making them. Agree on a threshold for what constitutes a big purchase and be willing to have an open and honest conversation before making decisions. Agree on financial responsibilities, on who is responsible for paying the bills or managing an investment. Divide the financial responsibilities among yourselves. Be willing to assess and reassess and adjust as needed. One other thing, discuss any debt you or your partner has and create a plan for paying it off. Agree on a debt repayment plan that will work for both partners and also be willing to adjust the plan as needed. Remember, setting boundaries on finances is not about control or restriction. It's about creating a healthy and open dialogue about money and working together to achieve a common financial goal. So, by being transparent and setting mutual goals, communicating your spending limits, deciding on a joint or separate account, discussing all these big purchases and agreeing on the financial responsibility and even on your debt, you can create a healthy and strong, fulfilling dynamics in your relationship and finances. Do you understand? Mommy, I'm trying to understand. And if I get you correctly, you said I should learn to communicate my needs, respect my partner's boundary. I should also acknowledge their own needs and I should be willing to compromise. I should work together and not push them beyond their limits. So, this is what will show that I value and care about my spouse's well-being. And this will also help me create a strong, healthy, and fulfilling relationship. Mommy, this is not small work. And you are still saying that from time to time we should meet and reevaluate and adjust our boundaries. Now, wow. Anyway, the Lord will help us. You know your marriage, mommy, is a model marriage. And we are just trying to fix our own so we can at least try to measure up, because your own, nobody can fully measure up with your own. If our marriage can just be half as good as you and daddy's own, then we are okay. Wow. Mommy, the last time we talked, you mentioned something about the 5 love languages. Can you talk some more about it? Wait. Let's talk for another time. My time is fast spent. Your dad will soon be back home. I need to go prepare his food and also freshen up to welcome him. So let's continue our conversation later. Mommy, which one is freshen up? Sha, I would have helped to go prepare daddy's food, or you have never allowed anyone to prepare or serve daddy when you are around. So good luck to you in preparing daddy's food. Like I always tell you people, I always prepare my husband's food with a touch of love. We know. That touch of love is the jazz that you use on our dad all these years to keep your man. The secret to keeping our homes and our husbands is in the hands of every woman. How? 2 things. 1, take care of his stomach. Your husband's meal should have what I call a wifey touch. The love and care in which you put into preparing his meals should be acknowledged by his taste buds. Get him used to your meals to the point he longs for no other. Serve his food, paying attention to every detail, and where possible, be seated beside him when he eats. Give him the kind of attention he can get nowhere else. The idea of allowing mates or a third party to cook and serve my husband, your dad, has always been a no-no for me. Mom, you said 2 things. What's number 2? Respect your husband.